Having been duly nominated, it's my honor under the rules of the Federal Liberal Party of Canada to declare nominations closed and Christopher Causton elected as your candidate. I wanted first of all to thank you so much for coming to my birthday party. Yes, it is my birthday today, September the 15th.
Merci tout le monde. Aujourd'hui c'est mon anniversaire. Je suis ravi d'être ici pour la célébration et pour la nomination. And that is my rusty French, which I promise you, thanks to Barry, is going to be improved on a daily basis. How come you didn't see us in the audience? Two of my colleagues have turned up tonight. I don't know whether they wanted to make sure I got this nomination or not. But Niels Jensen is here. Niels is a long-time colleague, and Tara Nave is another colleague, and they're both here tonight. Two other people I'd like to recognize. One, I saw Chris Coleman came in. Chris Coleman is a city councillor, and Chris has been a long-term support. I'm going to call on Chris's sage advice in the city of Victoria to help me in my campaign. I'd also like to acknowledge the latest candidate for the riding of Sandwich Gulf Islands with the red scarf on, Renee Hetherington, right there. I just wanted to say the outpouring of support from this riding and the strength of being united behind one candidate is a wonderful start, and I'm honored to accept the challenge that lies ahead. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, a little bit about my family, and a little bit about my connection with the Liberal Party and what we can do in this riding. So who am I, and where did I come from after landing at the corner of Fernwood and Gladstone? I own a restaurant in Victoria called Jason's. I opened it with Larry Hanlon, who now owns and runs the Peninsula Art Gallery in Sydney. We operated Jason's from 1972 to 1974. I then worked for Keg Restaurants, and we have actually someone who, believe it or not, don't turn and look away, someone in this room actually worked with me in Keg Restaurants between 1974 and 1979, including a stint where I went to Seattle, where of course I met my wife Elizabeth. And then in 1979, we returned to Victoria. We opened Rattenbury's restaurant, which we ran until 1996. We moved, Elizabeth and I and our children, to Oak Bay in 1986 after Expo. And in 1987, I became a city councillor in Oak Bay. And then in October 1996, 1 month after selling Rattenbury's, I became mayor of Oak Bay. In the year 2000, I became chair of the CRD. And now I sit on countless committees, somewhat too long to name, but including I chair the Local Transit Commission, I'm vice chair of the Provincial Transit Authority, I sit on the executive of the Union of British Columbia Municipalities, I'm chair of the Island Mayors and Councillors, I chair the Parks for the region, I sit as director on the Municipal Insurance Association, I'm with the Coalition for Homelessness, and it goes on and on. On my business card, though, I've always proudly put one thing as well. I've always put that for 25 years, I have been a Rotarian, and I would like to acknowledge Rotary, not only for the local work it does, but for the international work it does. And I'm a very proud member of Harborside Rotary, and I support everything they do in this community and worldwide. So thanks very much. A little bit about my wife. I've been married to Elizabeth, and if you remember, going back to Seattle, we've been married for 29 years this October. There's a theme here with October. Elizabeth worked for Victoria Hospice in the palliative response team for 14 years, and she now teaches palliative care across the country and is a research assistant in palliative care issues at the University of Victoria. I would not even be able to put my name forward without her support, which I value tremendously. And just a little bit, I like to tell a little bit of history, as you probably gathered, about everything. So, how I met Elizabeth. So, I was in Seattle. I was meant to know everything about the restaurant business, hence we're in a restaurant tonight. So I meant to know everything about the restaurant business. She came to me for advice. I gave her advice. She paid absolutely zero attention to my advice. She went away. She opened the business with another lady. My advice came to fruition. She came back, said you were right, and we've been together ever since. I do have two daughters. Sarah is my oldest daughter. Sarah is a graduate of Queen's University. She did a master's at Causton. She has a master's in social work, like my wife does. She works now in Toronto. She works as a social worker with challenged youth in the downtown area. My other daughter, I'm equally proud of, Jennifer. She graduated from McGill. After McGill, she did a degree in international development, and after that, she's now working in Rwanda, in Africa. And she is working for the American Peace Corps, and she's also working for the Ministry of Health. So Jen and my daughter Sarah and my wife, I'm extremely proud. I was born abroad, as was my wife. I have spent 41 years in Canada and have traveled extensively, which of course is one of my passions. I have lots of passions, but two I'll mention. Everyone said you look really nice tonight, you've got a rose on. Why aren't you wearing a blue sweater? Yes, I do wear blue sweaters. I actually have three. I buy three at a time. I put them in a little package with mothballs. And I put them under the bed, and I bring them out every 10 months, and I change them. So that's one of my passions. Another passion I have is I love to read. And actually, that is how I first initially came across Michael Ignatieff, because I was a long-time subscriber to the London Observer, which is printed in London on a Sunday and comes out, and you can actually get it about 10 days later. I don't read it for the news, I read it for Michael Ignatieff. So Michael had a column in there, which I read all the time, and in fact, it became my passion to actually read his column before the rest of the paper, because it was one of those which is a compelling argument, it's intelligent, and it's articulate. And I'm quite frankly honored to work under a leader of Michael's integrity, his vision, and his commitment to a future where we can all do better. So, politics and partisanship have in my mind, quite frankly, never belonged at the community level, where I have done a lot of the work of my work in the last 20 years. And so I have always acted on every board I've ever sat on, and every committee or commission, as an independent. But the fiscal responsibility and the social conscience and compassion of the federal Liberals has always resonated with me. And I find now, with you accepting my nomination to be your candidate, that this confirms the natural affinity that I feel within this party. The slogan for the upcoming campaign, whenever it may be, "We can do better," is no pie-in-the-sky slogan. It is a call for action. Doing better in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds is what countless Canadians strive to do all over this country and abroad every day. Giving citizens of this country a government that believes in them, supports them, and works with them is what the Liberal Party is all about. Looking ahead, when this campaign starts, we're going to need a great effort. It is going to be very exciting, but if this is any indication of what we're going to be doing, I think we can agree it's going to be fun. I am going to need, and we are going to need, everyone in this room and many more working on this campaign if we are to succeed. I am honored to work with a leader like Michael. You can count on me giving everything I've got to a campaign, but I am going to need your help. No candidate has ever won anything worthwhile without a great team. And having met some of you, and by the end of the night, I hope to have met all of you, I know we have a great team here, and together we can get the job done. So that's it for me. I wanted to close by saying thank you very much to all of you for coming. Thank you for crowding into this room. Thank you for your unanimous support. And I would hope that everyone here takes the time to introduce themselves to at least 4 other people. And then starting today, when you go out, talk to 4 more people. And whenever this election is called, we as Liberals in this riding will be ready. And we're going to do great things for Victoria in this riding as a federal Liberal body. Thank you very much for your support.